What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another video. Slightly different look for me as I finally have my lavalier mic plugged in so I don't have to be so close. I'm really excited to have this very small piece of technology to get a little better shots for you guys today. Taking a look at this right here. This is the Fixture S1. I actually got this on pre-order from Indiegogo a long time ago, and it finally arrived in the mail just this week. So I thought we'd do a quick unboxing of it and tell you what the hell it even is and why I think you should be interested in it. So there's not much to it. You open up the box and there's a little sheet inside that says thank you for your purchase. Now keep in mind with Indiegogo stuff and a lot of these products, these are very early access. These are things that you're trying to help establish. Think of things along the line of like a Kickstarter where you're giving money to somebody who's actively developing a product. And what this particular thing does is it is a new way to hold your Nintendo Switch. So no frills packaging here. I wouldn't expect an awful lot, but it didn't get damaged. That's the only thing I really care about. Most likely this box will be put in the recycling bin in the immediate future. So this is what this thing is. It's an alternate way to use your Nintendo Switch. And I have my Switch here, so we're gonna go ahead and plug it in and show you in a second. So basically what it is it's a type of kickstand. And if you wanted to, you could actually just put your Switch here and it's got a rocker arm on it where you could lean the angle back and forward depending on what angle you wanted. It also has an independent arm here to adjust it as well. And the goal is to use it on your Switch, but it's not just the standard stand. That wouldn't be very exciting, and honestly, I wouldn't buy it. So here is my Nintendo Switch here. The biggest problem I have is my hands are too damn big. And when I am playing on my Switch, my fingers get incredibly tired because I have to really curl them to get the Z, L, and R and buttons here on the back. Additionally, the way my hand naturally sits, as you can see, for me to get my fingers over this, I have to basically hold a claw hand. And after about half an hour or so of play, I am really unable to use these little Joy-Cons. They're cute, but they're not meant for adults. So what I prefer to use is this. This is my Pro controller. Now, what I love about this is that it's a standard size controller. It has really nice big travel on the analog sticks, unlike the small little tiny analog stick you get on the Joy-Con. You get one that's significantly beefier. On here, the buttons feel better. It's got not as good rumble, but it's just overall a really nice, hefty Xbox 360-esque clone controller. I love it. The problem is if you're trying to play it with your Switch, you have to be creative on how you put the stand in. You lean it up against something, so you're typically bound by some sort of table or some sort of flat object in front of you. And that's where this thing comes in. So what you essentially do is it has a grip system that basically docks in your Switch. So if you notice on your Nintendo Switch on the side, you have the brackets, and that's where your Joy-Cons would slide in. Well, if you go ahead and notice here, I don't know if the light's picking it up, but there's actually a bracket on both of these sides. And what you essentially do is, and I haven't done this yet, so I figured this would be a great experiment to do it live on camera. What you essentially do is you slide it into place. And what it does is now that it's slid into place, let me get a better camera shot for you guys. You can see there, it's actually held in by the plastic. So in the same way your Joy-Con has that plastic grip that snaps up in place to hold the controller, the console in place rather, this now replaces that. So you have this nice big piece solid of plastic. This is not moving, okay? And now if you wanted to, you could set this down as a stand, and using the weight that it has, you can lean it back and you can play games on it, but that's not really that exciting. As I mentioned, that's not something that I'm really that interested in. So where this thing comes in handy is actually it allows you to connect your controller to it. And I'm looking at the instructions while I talk, and as you can see here, the controller actually can sit in the back. And give me a second to snap it into place and adjust it, and there we go. That's a pretty nice fit. Yeah, I like that. Now you can see the controller actually snaps into place, and what you have is these nice bracket piece here on the side, and now the controller it's not going anywhere. And now, when you turn on your switch, you're seeing what's about to happen. I can now play my switch with my controller, and I can hold it out. I am using my Elite controller, and I'm using the screen. And this is really a like a Game Boy on steroids at this point. But there you could see my screen. I have easy access to my volume buttons. Everything is not impaired. There's no bracket that actually covers any portion of the screen. It's only on the sides. And additionally, on the bottom where I would grip it, it's kind of hard to show you, but I can promise you that right now as I'm holding the controller, this back bracket in place does not interfere with the way I hold a controller at all. I can easily use my hands to play. I can adjust, obviously, by the length of my arms where I need to see, but now I can play in style. Maybe not in style. But this is a phenomenal piece of technology, and I'm really excited to get it. I know it's just a simple bracket, guys. I know it's just a piece of metal, but you know what? Nobody else thought of this. A lot of people have been coming up with different brackets and bumpers that I've seen that, you know, where you have your Joy-Con on the side like this, and I've seen these big giant foam pieces around it. I've seen more like industrialized, like rubber grip pieces and various brackets to widen the switch. Not only in terms of how when you hold it, you're holding it like a little tiny clown car steering wheel, but the idea is because your grip would be farther out on the controller, your hands wouldn't have to squeeze in as much. So when I'm holding my D-pad here, when I extend my thumb out, look at how much farther my thumb is from the button. So I have to bend it way in. Now, this is great for little kids because they have small hands, and I understand Switch, Nintendo, it's a kid's console. But a lot of times when I'm playing with these Joy-Cons, I just can't get that grab. So this is where something like this comes in handy. I'm gonna post a link in the description box below where you can pick up your own. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but this is not a sponsored video. I paid for this with my own money. I'm reviewing it with, you know, my own time. I didn't get any royalties or anything for this. I could just tell you guys that in my experience of dorking around with this already, obviously I put it back together so I could unbox it for you. I'll tell you what, I love it, and it is really convenient. The only drawback I will say, if there's anything to keep in mind with this, the only drawback I'll say is that it definitely adds some significant torque to the console and the way you hold the controller. That may be an issue for some. You will definitely feel some more strain on your wrists as you are kind of hoisting it up slightly. Now, you can fine tune the bracket as I showed you before. So if you want it like way back here, I have no idea why you would want to play like this. The screen is completely flat. I guess if you want to hold it like this, you could. You could also adjust it really, I mean, to any angle you want. If you want a nice degree angle, if you want to like hold your arms out and play like this, I guess you could as well. I mean, there are some options here. So you might be able to fine tune the bracket slightly to give yourself a little bit of adjustment, but that's the only thing I will say that's kind of like, oh, maybe that's not so great. These guys have really thought about, I'll always end on a positive. These guys have really thought about two really good things that I like, and it has to do with controller charging. You can actually still access the controller, the USB-C port on the bottom of the Nintendo Switch, which is phenomenal. They've even included a little hole right here for you to feed the cable through and up if you are playing, which is a really nice touch. And then on the back of the controller itself, on the Pro controller, there is actually a small port there as well, and that is going to allow you to charge a controller as well while you're playing. I like this. I think this is a really smart idea, and I'll leave a link, as I mentioned, for you guys to check it out on your own. And if you get it, drop by, let me know what you think. If you've got a different solution, I'd like to hear it as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.